Hello, and welcome back, everybody. And today we are going to be reviewing another exclusive here, and this is in following with the mercenary figure Bug Bite that I reviewed. This is the Decepticon exhaust figure, and yeah, this is actually a shipping problem. I did get this from Hasbro Pulse, and FedEx did this to the entire box. Unfortunately, though, the package, while it has some damage to it, the figure inside had none. So this is what you get. And yeah, so let's go ahead and open this thing up. I've already extracted out the instructions, and here it is. It says War For Cybertron Decepticon Exhaust. Yeah, so this is and those instructions, and then here's the warning sheet and all that other cool stuff. So let's take this thing out of the packaging here. And all right, so we've got him here. We got to get him, and let's bust him out of this. Let me do a nice careful cut here and here. Yeah, the first time that I'm opening this again. I like to do this on camera with you guys just because, especially if it's a figure that I have an existing mold of, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Alright, so let's move all this debris out of the way, and one more thing. There's that. Okay, so, and here he is, Decepticon Exhaust. Actually, it's Decepticon. He is a mercenary, as is denoted on it by the symbol on his chest here. And yeah, this is a cool little figure. I actually like this mold, so to me it's not that big of a deal. We do have the ability to take his shoulder mounted weapon, and then you can just kind of plug it in right there, and he can sport it there. You can also sport it right here if you feel like it. There's another slot on that side. And then if you can also take this peg, and he can peg it into his hand and hold it that way if you desire. So there he is there. Now, as for the joints itself, there's no mold degradation or anything like that on it. It just, they feel, I would say they don't feel super tight, but they do feel tight enough. So I have pretty good confidence in this thing. Oh, wow. Talking about joints. Okay, so this thing just came off, and you saw that. So it's a mushroom peg, so one might assume that this here probably just didn't leave the factory in the way it should have left, like fully assembled. So went ahead and just slid that back in there. Let's take a look at the other side here. Yeah, it looks fine, I guess. Alright, so swivel still works there. And this here appears a little bit tight. Oh, hey. Alright. Well, there's one issue for you. Okay, maybe I didn't mount it correctly. There you go. But you know what? Now that I'm talking about that loose joint, yeah, this is really not very tight. So there's some information for you if that's useful. I'm sure we can get some pledge, some floor polish, as it were, and do the trick where you do that. And let's see here. Is it snapped in all the way? Yeah, no, not really. Let's take a look at this guy. He's all right. I think I could probably improve that. So, well, there's a word of warning to you. So if you do buy that and you really want to add this to your collection, then yeah, you might want to. That is really loose. So that tends to affect my judgment of this figure just a little bit, but it's not something impossible that I can't fix myself. So he's got the wings on the side there, and of course he has all of the articulation that you would expect out of this figure. Yeah, and so he looks like this. It says, we'll talk about some of the badging that's on him and whatnot. So there's that. And to compare him, here is the Transformers War For Cybertron Netflix Wheeljack, which is the same mold. Yeah, so you can kind of get a side-by-side comparison there. And then here is the Earth. Actually, I don't know if this is the Earth. I don't remember if this is the Earthrise version of him or not. But there it is. So let's kind of do this number, and we can Same mold, just different, slightly different coloring, and of course head sculpt different. So there's all that. Okay, so let's get started on, well, actually before we do that, I want to show off something. And so I don't have the original version of this mold, and the original Diaclone, or maybe it was released as a Decepticon in the past. I don't have much of the history on it, but I do happen to have the Masterpiece version. And just to compare this, let me raise up the camera a slight bit. You can kind of see what it is that looks, you know, how they've updated, at least kind of the look of the Masterpiece in comparison with this. Oh man, that arm is going to be quite an interesting thing for me to deal with. So let's pop that back in, guys. That's not right. Anyway, so let's see here. I gotta pop that in incorrectly. There we go. Like that. I'll try to push that in a little bit further. Maybe that was what it was. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to take a look at that, that's what he looks like. The Masterpiece version of Exhaust, yeah, so very interesting. You know, what they were going for, you know, what this is. Basically, you know, Wheeljack was a recolor of this, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, there we go. We got all that down. But I thought that would be an interesting comparison point. Okay, so now let's get him transformed without letting his arm drop off into his alt mode. So the first thing we're going to do is, let's see here, make sure that that doesn't fall off, but we're going to turn these wrists so that they are facing this way, so that you have these lined up correctly. Then turn this way and then put that out like that. Same thing with this one here. You just want to make sure that you turn this all the way over, and I'm going to have to make sure that that peg stays in place. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and fold these wings back down to the side so that they form this here, this particular, was that the spoiler? Yeah, spoiler. So, alright, so then I believe you take this off and just pull this out, and you want to leave it out like this, and then flip his head in, which may take some effort, hopefully without popping it off. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, it's supposed to. Hopefully I don't break this. Boy, that is quite tight. It's interesting. Some things are tight and some things are loose. So there we go. Whew. All right, just got it there. So you're going to flip it all the way in, and it should sit like that. Okay, we're going to keep these out to the side for the moment. All right, the next thing we want to do is we're going to stretch these legs out a bit. And there's this little panel right here. It belongs to the windshield, so you're going to flip that up, and then we're going to fold it the rest of the way up. Bring this down as you're doing it so that you have this aligned correctly, and then that little clear piece, or this smoky transparent piece right here, aligns and fits right into there. And we're going to do the same thing for the other side. So I'm going to stretch out the leg a little bit, and then I'm going to, and the toe, and bring them all the way down. And then we're going to take this and then do the same procedure. Flip that up. And by the way, this is also, on my Wheeljack mold, this thing has come off. So just a warning there. And go ahead and we'll align these, put them together like that, and then snap them right there. And then you can bring this over and then go on ahead and do a rotate this. You want to make sure this whole thing is lined up properly, because it's going to go right past this, and rotate it right here. And go on ahead and align those. Then you can snap in the hood and kind of give everything a nice unifying squeeze there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these and put them up over on the back, just like that. And then you're going to fold these in so that this piece right here, if you can't see that, tabs into that tab. That whole slot, this tab into that slot on his arm. So they're like this, and then we're going to just fold these up. Okay. Okay, as the whole mold takes and goes and falls apart. It's not actually, but alright, make sure everything gets lined up properly. There. Okay. Alright, there we go. We got that there, and this here. Okay, and then, oops. Okay, so these came a little bit on the line. You really want to, I think that's probably best practice, and it's probably what I'm not doing right here, so, is you want to take these arms, so when you bring them up, I didn't even see that, but there's a slot right there, and there's a tab. So you want to get this, and then push that in there, and make sure it's nice and secure on both sides. That way, they line up. And then go on ahead, and then you can tab these in. Those will be aligned correctly, and on the side here, and the same thing on this side as well. Alright, and there's that. And then if you hadn't flipped these around, go on ahead and do that, so that these are nice and straight. And there is exhaust in his alt mode. And yeah, he looks pretty cool. I like him. I do like him quite a bit. What we have here is we've got some painted rims on the wheels. This Japanese here says what does that say? It says Decepticon. Okay. My Japanese isn't all that great, but it says Decepticon right there on the side. Okay, and it says exhaust 598. We've got another symbol here. It says 7, looks like a pair of dice. There's your mercenary symbol. It says bandit here. More on that in a minute. Same thing on the other side. And on the top we have exhaust and bandit. By the way, these things do come off. And they are the standard 5mm ports that you're used to seeing. So there's that. So we can also take his weapon and we can go on ahead and put it on top here, and he can kind of keep it there. You can put it back here. Any place that there is a port, you can kind of do that. So there's that. Okay, so now for comparison, here he is with the regular Wheeljack. I think this is Siege. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, so there's, and I know that in the Kingdom line, I believe he's getting a reissue. So we're going to get like the 3rd version of this. And then here is the Netflix War for Cybertron version, the one with all the battle damage and all that other stuff. So you can kind of take a look here on the sides and see what they look like. And I'll put their little weapons right here just for comparison. This one here belongs to that belongs to him, and then this belongs to this one here that's all gray belongs to this one here. And you can kind of see the differences. So this is the Netflix Walmart version. This is I believe this is the Siege version, and then that is actually exhaust. That's not Wheeljack at all. So pretty interesting comparison. You can kind of see from the rear what these guys look like. They are more or less... this one has some just gray and not much to it. It's missing a lot of the badging on the sides, and on the top of the spoiler. These two do have it. So we'll see in the Kingdom line if they go on ahead and re-release Wheeljack in this exact scheme here. So it'll be cool. And if you missed out on this one, then that'll be your opportunity to go on ahead and pick him up. So there it is. And you'll notice that the rims are not painted on the Netflix version. A lot of details missing, but it does have all that, what do you call it, like spattering of, you know, whatever they call this stuff here. See, so the battle damage. I don't know if it's battle damage. Scuffing. Looks like an oil stain, I guess. And on this one here, this is the Siege version, I believe. It says Praxis, and then Cybertron here, and then you can see it's got an Autobot symbol, Swerve, all this other cool stuff on it. So lots of little badging, and I'm sure that they make other kits to decorate this up, make him look all interesting. But you know, and probably the same for this one as well. But you know, if you had a choice, and I know that there were a lot of these out there, I would probably wait for the Kingdom version. I think it's probably going to have a better paint scheme. And of course, the star of the moment, which is this one here, and it's exhaust, and you can see all the little differences. Make sure everything's tabbed in right, and he looks very good. Very smooth, very slick, and they probably do make an enhanced sticker set and maybe some upgrade kits for this. Do not know, really, immediately what all is there. So, just for comparison, one other thing that we can do here is I happen to have a knockoff of the Masterpiece, and this is exactly what it looks like, and this was the intention of the original mold, was that he actually was supposed to have all of this badging on him. Kind of see up close what it looks like. All you know, I did this via an upgrade kit. So yeah, this is what he kind of looks like here. And Toy World also released, quite ironically, I got this as well. Toy World also released a version, which is a Legends scale version of exhaust right here, and it's got very similar badging. I think I might have flipped around those hood decals right there. This is a sponsored race car, the Lancia, and I don't know. You can look this up and you can find it. This is the badging and everything else, and what it looks like. I could transform this really quickly for you guys. Kind of forgot about this, honestly. But yeah, I don't even know if this, and this is, the name of this mold is Waste Gas, not Exhaust, but it's pretty cool little figure. It's also very tight when it comes to these joints here, so I need to get a little tool to separate these out with, and allows you to an accordion these legs, so to speak. But just to show you what this thing looks like in its robot mode. So since this is kind of not just a review, but a review and a comparison, I like to show off as many of these as I can, just so that you can, if you're, you know, a super fan of, you know, one mold or the other, that you can make a decision, you know, of whether it's worth adding into your collection or not. So yeah, and here's how this works. This is, by the way, a very I know they came out, I've seen some other videos and pictures of, they had a Christmas version of this Toy World made. I decided not to get that because I just wanted the one that looked more like his other self. So that gets tapped into there. Yep, and I don't have his weapons handy, so I'm not going to be showing those off. But you can kind of see here he's got similar head sculpt and whatnot. See on this guy. So, and yeah, I popped the Decepticon symbol on there myself. So anyway, so here's all the, and then this, of course, is this is a knockoff, and I decided to go on ahead and label this up. Instead of my Masterpiece, I decided to leave my Masterpiece pretty much unlabeled. But this is what he looks like. And yeah, he looks pretty good. But really, this is the one we're talking about. And you can see the numbers are the same, 598 and whatnot. So, yeah, so there we have it. And I would say that, yeah, if you're really, really into you know, collecting the variants of this figure, or if you're trying to build your mercenaries up, then I would definitely you know, I would consider getting this. You know, and yeah, so there you go. Hey, thanks for joining me, and if you can, give me a subscribe, refer it, share this video, and we'll talk to you later. Peace, guys.